The Black Death, one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, swept across Europe, Asia, and North Africa in the mid-14th century, leaving a trail of death and societal upheaval. It wasn't just a disease, it was a force that reshaped the world, altering economies, religions, and even the very fabric of human civilization. Let's explore how this catastrophic event unfolded, the toll it took, and the lasting changes it left behind. The origins of the Black Death are widely traced to the steppes of Central Asia. Around the 1330s, the Yersinia pestis bacterium found a deadly pathway to humans, most commonly through fleas carried by rats. These rats traveled along the bustling trade routes of the Silk Road, a network that linked Asia to Europe, spreading goods and disease across continents. The plague first reached Europe in 1347, when merchant ships arrived in Sicily carrying not only cargo, but also the first victims of the outbreak. The disease came in three horrifying forms: bubonic, septicemic, and pneumonic. The bubonic strain, the most common, caused swollen lymph nodes or buboes, which turned black, giving the plague its ominous name. Victims suffered fevers, chills, and excruciating pain, before often succumbing within days. The pneumonic form attacked the lungs, spreading through respiratory droplets, making it even deadlier and highly contagious. The septicemic variant, though rarer, caused blood infections that killed almost instantaneously. By 1348, the Black Death had engulfed much of Europe. Towns and cities became graveyards as the death toll soared. It's estimated that the pandemic wiped out 30 to 50% of Europe's population, nearly 25 million people, in just a few short years. Entire villages were abandoned as survivors fled in terror. The lack of understanding about the disease's origins fueled panic and superstition, with some blaming divine punishment, planetary alignments, or even bad air known as miasma. In an attempt to combat the plague, so-called plague doctors emerged, wearing iconic bird-like masks stuffed with aromatic herbs to ward off the disease. Despite their eerie appearance, these doctors had little understanding of how to treat the illness. Bloodletting, boil lancing, and the burning of aromatic substances were common but largely ineffective remedies. The Black Death also had a profound impact on religion. Many turned to the church for salvation, while others began to doubt its power, seeing the clergy just as vulnerable as the rest of society. Groups like the Flagellants roamed the countryside, whipping themselves in penance, believing their suffering could atone for humanity's sins. Tragically, this desperation also fueled violent scapegoating, with Jewish communities across Europe falsely blamed for poisoning wells and spreading the disease, leading to horrific pogroms. The pandemic's impact wasn't limited to death. It reshaped societies. With a massive labor shortage, surviving peasants found themselves in higher demand, gaining leverage to demand better wages and conditions. This shift weakened the feudal system, planting seeds for later revolutions. At the same time, the loss of population forced a halt to wars and reduced famine, providing some relief to the survivors. Modern science has since uncovered the truths behind the Black Death. The Yersinia pestis bacterium was identified in the late 19th century, and antibiotics now make the plague treatable if caught early. However, outbreaks still occur in some parts of the world, reminding us that this ancient killer has not entirely disappeared. The Black Death was a dark chapter in human history, but it was also a turning point. It challenged societies to adapt, inspired resilience, and left us with invaluable lessons about health, humanity, and survival. While we may never forget the horrors of the plague, its legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. If you enjoyed this dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories from our past. Thank you for watching.